Okay, so this will be a reading for the late great Whitney Houston. She said that this is for Bobby and Ray J. All right. So she said, Bobby. So she gonna start off with Bobby. So she wants to say that she's very proud of you. She said that you've come a long way when it comes to your sobriety, and she says she respects that and she loves you. She was saying that she's not gonna get too much into detail about things. Oh, okay, so y'all know Miss Whitney, she had a mouth, right? So she said that when you got that reading from the boy, she said it was only so much that she was gonna tell that boy. Okay. She said that she wasn't gonna tell him too much because she said that let's just say that our gifts are not the same. Okay. That's what she's saying, right? Um hmm. She said it took you a while to come out of that stuck energy where you was feeling depressed and feeling down and low, to where like you used to cry a lot. You used to cry a lot. Like you used to have a lot of moments and you're, oh. She said your new wife, she said that she wouldn't have it any other way. She said that woman is a beautiful woman. She said that woman has a beautiful soul, a beautiful spirit. She said that woman has helped you in many ways that she couldn't, you know? She said that woman has made you a better man. She said ah, she said, that woman is beautiful. She said, beautiful, you know? She said she took a lot from you. She had to deal with a lot of things when it came to you. And she's very strong. Very, very strong. She said, shoo, this is what she said. She said, hell, that woman was gonna even take my baby into her wings. She said, I respect that woman. She said, I love that. She said, my baby needed y'all. And she was coming. She said she was coming. She said, I was pushing her. She said, I was pushing her away from that man. She said, but it was too late. She said, it was too late. She said, sometimes she feels like she failed her. She said, sometimes I feel like I failed y'all. She got like real high energy, She was a very high energy person. She loved happiness. She loved love. She loved to be loved. She said, through the good, the bad of our relationship, she said, I wouldn't have changed it and I wouldn't have had it any other way. She said, we had a lot of great ass times. She said, even the love, she said, you know what I mean. She said it was very intense, very passionate. Like, she said, I loved every bit of it. She said, you was the love of my life, Bobby. The love of my life. Ooh. She said, even with the whole Pac situation, she said that, she was wrong. She said, I was wrong. She said, during that time, I just was trying to make you jealous. She said, because I was jealous and I just didn't know how to show it. She said, you had a lot going on when it comes to those different women. She said, different women in and out of our bed. She said, I wanted to be number one. She said, I didn't want no other woman to come, she said, to come above me. She said, I was number one and I will always be number one. She said, let's make that now no mistake. She said, no mistake of that. She said, you gave me something that I always wanted. She said, a family. She said, you gave me a beautiful daughter. She said, even your children, they were my children. She said, I had a family. She said, that's something that I always dreamt of. She said, even though we were always on the road and we was always on the go when it comes to traveling and performing, she said, performing, oh, she said, that was the best time of my life. She said, I loved it. I love performing. I love the stage. I love singing. I love to make people happy. She said, I love to make people happy. I just love to make everything just was so, I loved it. She's talking about The Bodyguard, the movie that she did. She said that was she said that was the best time of her life when she recorded The Bodyguard. She said that was the most sober that she had been in a very long time. She said that for her to be able to be that sober and do that movie, she said, I wish I would have stayed that way. She said, I spiraled. She said, I can admit it. She said, I'm never, um, mm. She said, I'm never untruthful. She said, I like for my image to be the way that I like it to be. She said, I'm never finna let anybody else portray me in any such sorts. You know, she said, I'm the one who's gonna relay my outcome. Nobody else. She said, I didn't want to put my family in that type of life. She said, I never wanted my family to be embarrassed by me. She said, I wanted my family to love me. I wanted my family to be portrayed in a nice light. She said something about Trump tight. You know, I wanted it to be tight knitted. She said only the people closest to us were supposed to know what was going on. She said the world was only supposed to know me as Whitney, that performer. When I come through and I show and I do what I do, she said that's what I wanted them to see. She said my personal life had nothing to do with me as a performer. She said, but a lot of people always was in my business, our business. She said, Bobby, this was our business. But everybody always put their nose in it because she said, shoot, we had some times where we allowed them to be in it because of what we portrayed. She said, I would never change anything. She said, I would never portray myself to be something that I'm not. She said, I'll never change anything. Never. She said, Bobby, I loved you. She said, I still love you, even in spirit. She said, I'm going to always be here. She said, I try not to, come in too much with your family. She said, but I sit and I watch sometimes. She said, it kind of makes me sad because I feel like this is something that we should have had. She said, but it worked out the way it was supposed to. She said, you happy? She said, I wanted to just see you happy. I wanted to just see you happy. Okay, now she's talking about Ray J. Because she's going more so into like how the time of when she passed away. She said Raymond. That's what she said, Raymond. Mm. She getting really emotional. She said, I watch you spiral. She said, I don't want to watch you spiral no more. She said, that woman that you married, she said that she's a beautiful soul. She said she just want to be happy, baby. She said, she said, I'm going to be honest with you, Gray, because I've always been honest with you. She said, I've never been biased and I've always told you the truth. She said, you know, don't mess up someone else's life because you don't understand yours, you know? She said that, you know, when I passed away and you were supposed to come and meet me, she said I was waiting for you, you know, I was ready. And she said, I thank you for what you did. She said, you know exactly what you did. She said, you didn't make me out to, you didn't let the people that wasn't supposed to know what really went on, you know? She said, you got some stuff together. And she said she thanked you. She said you was in panic mode, but you made it happen. She said I wasn't supposed to be left alone. She said I wasn't supposed to be left alone. She's sitting there rocking. She said I wasn't supposed to be left alone. She keep on saying that. She said, but they left me alone. She said somebody came in there. She said, and I was defenseless. She said she said I was medicated. I say that. I was heavily medicated. She said, and I was just relaxed. You know, I was cool. I was relaxed. I needed to relax. She said, I wanted to wash my body. I wanted to cleanse my body. She said, and somebody came in there. And she's showing me like somebody doing this to her head and watching their watch. Okay? Now, a lot of you guys might be skeptical of what I'm saying, but spirit don't never lie. And I don't have anything to lie about either. Okay? But this is what she's been showing me for the past, it's been about a good 5 years now. She's been showing me this. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was a little nervous about even talking about this. But Whitney, she keep on riding me. So I'm going to tell her story. Because this is what she want me to tell her story. She said, Ray, I've watched you. She said, my little Ray J. She said, I've watched you grow up into a very great man. She said, you real smart when it comes to business. She said, you very, very smart when it comes to business. She said, don't let nobody try to make you seem like you don't know what the heck you be talking about and know what the heck you be doing. She said, you know very well what you're doing. Okay? She said, you are no, what she said, you are no idiot. She said, you know exactly what you're doing. She said, you know how to make a lot of business moves by yourself. She said, you don't need anybody else's opinion nor second guess yourself. She said, lean on to your own intuition, your own, you know. She said, stop second guessing yourself, Ray. Please. She said, you are a damn good husband is what she's saying, and a damn good dad. She said, you have to see that. She's talking about Brandy. She said, girl, she just like went, oh hell. She said, you have been through a lot in this industry. She said, and you still pull through. She said, you still pull through. She said, there's going to be a lot of haters. She said, hell, people hated me. She said, but guess what? It ain't going to knock your voice. It's not going to knock your talent. It's not going to knock who the heck you are. She said, baby, you are one of a kind. She said, you still selling out shows, ain't you? Oh, okay. You still got sold out shows. So it looked like you're doing something great to me. She said, it looked like you still got it going on, boo. She said, you look good. You sound good. She said, you are my baby. She said, I still look at you as my baby from Cinderella. She said, I know I could be harsh at times. She said, I know I was a little harsh. She said, I apologize to you. She said, I'll never say I'm sorry because I'm not a sorry person. But she said, I apologize to you. She said, I just knew your greatness. And she said, I just didn't want you to be weak. You know? She said, I didn't want you to be weak. She said, because you are no weak woman. You are a very strong woman. She said, you got your mama in you. Pull it on out. She said, reach in there sometimes and pull it on out. She said, your brother, he show it all the time. Most definitely. She said, you are a very strong woman. She said, you're very subtle, but you need to show your strength sometimes. She said, in this industry, you don't want nobody to walk all over you. She said, you did right by, what she say, walking away from that ex-husband of yours. She said, he didn't mean you no good. She said, you too good for him. That's what she keep on doing, shaking her head and with that. She like, no, you too good for him. Mm-mm. She said, thank you for always being a breath of fresh air to my baby. She said, my daughter loved you. My daughter loved the heck out of you. She said, thank you. She said, look out for your brother sometimes because he be a little bit lost in this world. He may not admit it, but he still need his big sister. She said, yeah, Ray, I'm talking about your ass. She said, because sometimes you be hard-headed. She said, sometimes I be wondering if your ass got dropped as a baby. What the fuck? Oh, Whitney. Oh, my goodness. That lady there, she got some words, don't she? She said that I'm a realist. She said, there's nothing that I ain't going to say now that I wouldn't say to their face. Okay. She said, you hear me? She said, okay, enough of y'all. She said, I love y'all. She said, I'm always love y'all. She said, even from this this afterlife. She said, I'm always still around. She said, Ray, you hear me? She said, you're not hallucinating. Baby, you hear me. She said, sometimes when you hear me blatantly, she said, because I be yelling at your ass. She said, you hear me. That's me. She said, I am me. She said, I'm always be me. She said, Bobby. She said, our baby, she been trying to talk to you. She said, even though I know you trying to put this behind you, she said, but our baby, she been trying to talk to you. She said, Bobby Christina has been trying to talk to you. Something about visiting y'all graves. Bobby, she said something about visiting their graves. You haven't been to visit them. She said she could use a fresh set of flowers. She said we both could. She said she love you. She said I love her. She said, hell, I love all of y'all. But she said, I just wanted to pop in and show y'all a little bit of love. She said, I haven't been able to speak to y'all like I want to. She said, some of y'all may not believe, but she said, I'm going to show you so you can see that she's referring to me. She said, what this woman is channeling for you. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, so this has been the reading for Whitney. My next read will be for Bobby Christina, because Bobby Christina has something that she would like to share as well. All right, thank you all to the ones that watched this reading. Till next time, peace, y'all.